Welcome everyone. My name is Kylene Terhune. If you guys don't know me, I'm a personal trainer, but I am also a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. If you are listening, like this video or make a comment below so I can say hi to you and see who's here. If you have any questions while I'm talking, this is participatory. So I wanted to just share, the reason I actually decided to pop on today is because I wanted to talk really quickly about a supplement that blew my mind in the past 48 hours and is just miraculous in my personal life. But before I do that, I wanted to give you a little bit of a history, a little bit of a background of what's going on with my body and why this would happen to me in the first place. So again, if you haven't heard my story, it really started hi Moira, how are you? It really started in 2015 when I had what I call my total utter breakdown. And if my husband was here, he would tell you it was absolutely probably one of the hardest things either one of us has ever been through. Literally, we were this close to being like, do I need to be put into a psychiatric ward? Like, it was hardcore scary. Hi, Mark. And what was happening was not physiologically, but what was happening in my life at the time, hi, Joe, was I was extraordinarily anxious and I could not get sleep. Hi, Scott. Hi, Chantel. How are you? And so in 2015, I went through, hi, Leslie, hi. Hey guys, if you're watching, go ahead and like the video or comment below. Ask questions while I'm talking. This is a dialogue, but I'm going to share a little bit of my story and some things that have helped me. So I'm talking about what happened to me in 2015, and really I went through this 2-week period where it was extremely scary. It was so incredibly, overwhelmingly scary. I had so much anxiety. I had these thoughts. Hi, Rebecca. I had these thoughts that were intrusive, and so now I've researched it. Now I know what that means, but at the time I didn't. And what it is really when you have an intrusive thought is something that's really scary that doesn't seem like it's coming from you. It seems like it's coming like it's an influence, okay? And even that alone sounds really scary, right? But these are like thoughts that you're like, that's not part of who I am. These are thoughts that I wouldn't be thinking, and they terrify you, right? They're so scary. So this is the place that I was at in 2015. It was horrifying, and I couldn't sleep, and I had extreme anxiety, and this lasted for like 2 weeks. And my doctor at the time, I went to her twice, and she just wanted to put me on an antidepressant, and I'm like, lady, that's not what's happening right now. I know what depression is. I know my history. I know what's happening now. This is not it, okay? And I did not want to get on an antidepressant, and so if I could do anything to avoid that, I was going to do that. So at the time, I knew a little bit, not obviously as much as I do now, but I knew enough that I was like, you know what, I'm going to check into my hormone levels. So I checked into my hormone levels, and I had, if you guys are familiar with adrenal fatigue, I was in the exhaustive phase of that. And really what that means is that I had been under stress for a period of time, mental, emotional, physical, it doesn't really matter. Your body interprets it the exact same way. And I've been under some chronic stress to the point where my body wasn't able to function properly. So really super fast, I'm going to give you like the breakdown of what this means. Adrenal fatigue is actually known in the medical community as HPA axis dysregulation. So that's your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. And the reason it's called that is because they all communicate together. So hypothalamus and your pituitary in your brain. Your adrenals are little organs that sit on top of your kidneys. And this is responsible for your stress reaction or your physiological stress response when your body is under stress, okay? So if you are in a car accident or you're about to hit a car or, you are surprised by something, then your brain perceives it as stress. It tells your adrenals to pump out the appropriate hormones like cortisol, and then there's this feedback loop that when you are not under acute stress anymore, when everything calms down, that signal tells your brain, okay, I'm safe again, so you can shut everything down, and your body reaches this homeostasis. So you'll notice, hi Sarah, so you'll notice like if you do almost hit a car, or you're in something really acute like that, everything revs up, your muscles twitch quickly, your brain is active, you're very alert, right? But like 15 minutes later, your heart rate has calmed down, everything seems normal. So that's like the normal response. But the chronic response, unfortunately, is when that feedback loop is, it's essentially breaks. So your body continues to push out as if you are under stress. So chronic stress, again, can be mental, emotional, physical, it can be environmental, it can be all sorts of different things. It can come from your food, it can come from work, it can come from too much exercise, it can come from a combination of things in your life. It doesn't really matter. So this is where we get what's commonly called adrenal fatigue, and this is where people start noticing the symptoms, is when they've been under chronic stress for a period of time, that feedback loop doesn't work properly anymore, everything starts to become depleted, and you start seeing things like hormonal imbalances, extreme fatigue, brain fog. You can't really function properly. You know something isn't quite right, but you can't get an answer in the medical community because all your labs come back as normal. So that's very frustrating. So that's where I was in 2015, and it really spurred me into what I do now, which is my functional diagnostic nutrition training. So ultimately, I got more into health. I was already into the nutrition side of it. I got deeper into that. Then I went into personal training. I got into that. And then I went into the functional diagnostic nutrition, which really opened my world. There was a lot of hormonal training in there. And I do run complete hormone labs on some of my clients and things like that. But what it really opened my eyes to was digging to the root cause. So you're not just looking to say, okay, I'm really tired and hi, Wendy. And you're not looking to just say, hey, I'm really tired, so give me a stimulant, right? You're actually starting to dig into, well, why am I tired? What is going on? What's the underlying cause? So these can be for so many different reasons, right? Like I said, chronic stress is obviously kind of the overarching, but what happens when you're under chronic stress? You can get like nutrient and mineral deficiencies, but even if you dig a little bit, so you might need specific nutrients to kind of boost your system. But if you look even deeper than that, like maybe what caused your body to sort of break down in the first place? So if you look at the progression of disease, by the time you have a symptom, things have been going on in your body for a long period of time. So if you are getting a symptom of extreme fatigue, if you're getting a symptom of acne, if you're getting a symptom of bloating, if you're getting symptoms that you recognize as an issue, that usually points to something going on in your body that's been there for a long period of time, and your body can no longer compensate for whatever is overloaded or deficient, whatever's happening, and then it creates a symptom. And symptoms and disease is just your body's way of crying out for help to try and tell you, that something in a big way, that something is wrong. So as I went through my FDN training, it was more about digging deep and finding that underlying cause. So instead of then just looking at, my hormone levels and saying, okay, well, I'm going to address the symptoms, it was like, well, why? Why did I have this breakdown? Why did I go through this? Why is my body not functioning correctly? And so I started digging more into gut health, and that's really where my passion lies now, because I feel like when I have worked on myself and what I have discovered through a lot of my clients and the clients that I work with, is that your gut health is underlying so many other issues that you may be struggling with. So what do I mean by gut health? What I'm talking about is if you have bacterial imbalances, if you have a parasite, if you have inflammation, if you have damage in your mucosal lining that protects your inside body from your outside body, which is super weird to think about because we think that our intestines are inside our body, right? But technically, the lining in your intestine protects the inside of your body from everything outside. So if you're digesting your food, it's protecting it from certain foods. If it's protecting your blood and the inside of your body from toxins, from all this other stuff. So your gut health is crucially important, that is healthy, that it is functioning, that your microbiome is balanced properly. So I started really digging into all of these different things. So what's so great about my journey, hi Shanice, is you can get really like, God, why are you letting me go through this? And why I eat so healthy and I'm so active, and it's literally my job now to be healthy. So when you have health setbacks, it's incredibly easy to be like, why, but I choose never to do that. If I do, hi Kim, if I do, it's usually for like maximum 24 hours, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out. And in my mind, the reason I've gone through, whether it's gut health or anxiety or hormone issues or whatever it is because it helps me to be a better coach. It teaches me, it forces me to learn more, it forces me to dig deeper, and it helps me to empathize with struggles that my clients are going to go through as well. Hi, Jessica. So I wanted to share something specifically that happened to me recently because I think maybe you can pull some nuggets from it. So all of this happened back in 2015. 2018 has been like the best year in terms of emotional stability, great cycles, less PMS, more energy, better recovery, just generally feeling, great. And so the progression has been awesome. Hi. Oh, hey, thanks. Whoever's liking it. Yay. So, I wanted to share today about something that happened this week because it was just so mind blowing to me, even though I'm in this field and I have all this information. Excuse me. So knowing what happened in 2015 when I was so down, I was so tired, and I would, before the breakdown, by the way, before the complete and utter breakdown where I thought I was like psychotic and needed to be committed, before that happened, I had this long period of time where I would be just extraordinarily tired. I would crash in the middle of the afternoon. I would come here in the middle of the school day. I would have to take a nap, and it wasn't like, oh, I'll just take a nap. It was like, I need to sleep now, and it would be this incredibly deep sleep, this overwhelming head, eye tired, like just pressure, like I had to go now. Like it's almost like something else controls your body and says time to shut down, and like I don't know if that's what happens to narcoleptics, but seriously, it's like something else is like, you have to sleep. So you go to sleep, and then you're crashed for a long period of time, 1 to 2 hours, and then maybe you're a little shaky when you wake up, you're having all these issues. So that's where I was before I had the complete and utter breakdown, right? So obviously throughout all my training and everything that I've done over the past couple years, things have gotten better. But this past week, I was struggling a little bit with some afternoon fatigue. Now, that rings bells in my head as a health practitioner and with my previous health history, and it freaks me out, right? Because I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, I am at the point where I am strong in my fitness. I am growing my business. I feel amazing. I have all this energy. I cannot revert back to where I was. So, it's like intense for me to figure this out if something's not working properly. So the past month, probably you saw a lot of my posts, I was the musical director at Miami Valley School for their high school musical. This takes a lot of hours, takes a lot of time, but particularly Tech Week is very involved for me because I actually conducted the pit. So this is very different for me. It's mentally, emotionally, and physically stressful because it's not really what I do on a day-to-day basis, and so it takes a lot of brain work. And then I bounce excessively when I conduct too because I'm keeping time and I'm having so much fun. So I get a lot of physical activity. So this is shaking up my day, right? So I am training clients in the morning. I'm trying to rest in the afternoon and kind of reserve my resources. And then I get up to conduct and I'm bouncing and I'm getting cardio and I'm getting this mental and emotional surge for 2 to 3 hours in the evening. So this really wears me out. So during that week, I was like, wow, I'm recovering really well. I'm feeling really great. Comparing it to the year before, I was like, man, I'm doing awesome. And then in the back of my head, I kind of had this expectation that when it was done, I was going to need maybe a 24 to 48 hour recovery period because that's typical for me where I will be really stressed or I will have a lot going on. And when it's done, I just need a minute, right? And that's healthy. That's fine. It's typical for your body. But you need to listen to it. And you can't just get up the next day and run a marathon, okay? So you need to kind of chill. But what was frustrating for me was that little period actually started going into the rest of my week. And so I was feeling more fatigued and I was starting to dip again in the afternoons. And this was really concerning for me because I was like, oh no. Hi, Amanda. So I was like, uh-oh, did I overdo it? I don't want to get back into adrenal fatigue. I don't want to, push myself beyond my limits, but I also don't really want to slow down. I need to figure this out. So I had in the back of my mind, I pulled up this Chinese medicine organ chart, which if you don't know what that is, it's a little chart that traditional Chinese medicine uses that correlates the time of day with the organ's activity, your internal organs, your heart, your liver, your spleen, that kind of thing. And so if you look at it, so for example, a lot of people, hi Ashley, so a lot of people that struggle with like blood sugar issues or liver issues will wake up in the middle of the night between like 1 to 3 in the morning. And if you look at the Chinese medicine clock, you'll see that's your liver. And so that's just a nice little correlation that I'm able to kind of point to my clients, hey, do you wake up this time? Okay, this might be going on. We need to support your liver health. We need to support your blood sugar. So it's actually a really interesting tool. So I pulled it up the other day and I'm thinking, okay, what time am I getting tired in the afternoon? Because it was that really overwhelming fatigue. And I was thinking, I'm either fighting something and just it's not like full blown in my body. So yeah, Shanice is really cool. It's a nice little tool. It doesn't give you everything you need to know, but it's pretty interesting just to sort of correlate it with some other stuff. So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, 3 to 5 is kind of when I was getting tired, and so it's correlating with the kidney. And I was like, all right, well, I don't think I have a problem with my kidney. So I tucked it in the back of my head. Well, I've been having some back pain recently, and I've got my rib adjusted several times because my chiropractor thought it was popping out of place, and so that's been adjusted. And so then I was having this, it's sort of centralized the pain, right? So then I went this week and I was getting acupuncture, dry needling, and chiropractic adjustment all at the same time. And by the way, dry needling is basically acupuncture, but instead of following specific, hi Chrissy, instead of following specific acupuncture points on the body, it just gets wherever that trigger point or wherever that pain is in your muscle and it goes in. At least that's my understanding from what I asked him the other day. Hi Julie. And so he'll just put it right in the pain and it'll go a little deeper into the muscle than acupuncture. So he was saying, okay, I think this pain point that you're experiencing is due to like a trigger point in your muscle. I'm like, okay, so he dry needle that. And what was so crazy is, and I don't want to diminish what the acupuncture and dry needling did because I do think it was helpful and I kind of noticed a little difference later in the day. However, the next day I woke up and my back was still in pain. It was actually so much so that I was thinking, should I work out today? Turned out my trainer had legs planned. By the way, yes, I am a trainer and I have a trainer. That way I don't have to think about it, you guys. It's like way more fun that way. Now I know why people hire me. So anyways, so it turned out it was leg day, so I was like, sweet. And so I went about and I did it. But it hurt so much, I was a little concerned about it, right? Well, let me back up to the Chinese medicine clock. So I go to get acupuncture the other day, and in the acupuncture session, he hits these points in my lower back that I yelled when he did it. It really hurt pretty badly. I was like, oh my gosh. That like adjust that. And so he'll kind of adjust them and tweak them or whatever. But he goes, those are your kidney points. He goes, I'm not surprised that those are depleted from all the stress that you had last week. And I was like, oh my gosh, the kidneys. I just pulled up that organ clock and that was when I was getting tired in the afternoon. So now that I had two things pointing to that, I was like, all right, I'm going to go home. This is where it gets really nerdy, you guys. I have traditional Chinese medicine, herbal books because I am a freak and I enjoy this stuff. All right, this is what I do. I love it. Okay, I ask for this kind of stuff for birthdays and holidays and things like that. So I went home and I pulled out my traditional Chinese medicine books and I was like, all right, what can help my kidneys? If this is what's going on, I need to fix it. So sure enough, in both of my books, it pointed to milky oats. And literally oat, like as an oatmeal. But this is harvested at a certain point of the oat growth. And you can get it in like a tincture, which is what I have here. So I was researching it, and it in traditional Chinese medicine, it supports the kidneys, all right? So the kidney qi, or however you want to talk about it. And it also is usually used as a tonic for adrenal fatigue, recovering from exhaustion, mental or physical, that sort of thing. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just give it a try because what's really nice about these books is they'll also give you the cautions, and this one didn't have any, so it's pretty safe and things like that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. Well, what's interesting about it, and I've done some other research since because this is so fascinating to me, but what's interesting about it is it's also used for the nervous system, which makes sense, right? Like if you're chronically stressed, if you have adrenal fatigue, you're taxing your nervous system, right? But so this is kind of a nervine, I guess is what they call it, agent or whatever, and so it's useful for your nervous system. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try this. So yesterday was, when my back was hurting really poor really badly, and I had that workout. After my workout, I went to the health food store because I had researched this the day before, and I went and I got the wild oat, or the milky oat. It's called wild oat, milky oat, or I can't remember what it's called. Oh, here it is. Avena sativa is like the scientific name. Avena sativa. So I went to get that, and I took it 3 times yesterday. And this is why I wanted to share this, you guys. This is mind blowing. Not only did I not dip in energy yesterday afternoon, my back pain went away by the end of the day. Seriously. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it was because I was moving throughout the day, and so, circulation and movement can really, when you have some sort of back pain or nerve pain or anything like that, maybe it's because of the circulation, and that really helps when you get in the muscles and you get the lymphatic system moving right? So typically pain will lessen by the end of the day, right? So I was thinking, well, okay, well, maybe it's a combination of it's the end of the day, and it's also, I got the dry needling treatment done, okay? So I was like, well, I'll be interested to see what happens tomorrow. So I wake up this morning, guys, my back pain, I'm telling you, is like a million times better. It's there's like a little tiny bit of it still there. You can still kind of tell it exists, but it's like 1,000 times better than it was yesterday. And this is like blowing my mind. But here's what I wanted to share with you about this, because it's not that I'm promoting everybody go out and take this, everybody go out and this is magic. I mean, it is for me, but what I wanted to share with you is really that there's so many natural treatments out there, and this is what's so fascinating. Everyone's body is different, chemically, biologically. Your environmental, mental, physical stressors are all different, okay? So while this was magic for me, it might not be magic for you. Everything I'm talking about might register exactly with you and be perfect, and this might help you exactly, but it might not. And the reason I'm sharing that is because I don't want, when people are looking into natural remedies, I don't want you to get overwhelmed because there's a lot of information out there. And B, I don't want you to get discouraged if you try something that people are like, oh my gosh, this is super amazing and it helped me so much, and it didn't work for you. So I'll give you like an example. Like apple cider vinegar. Some people swear by it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I think it's great for digestion. We use it in my Get Gutsy group. We have like a little tonic that we do in the morning. It helps stimulate your digestion in the morning. And other people will use it for like all these other like health remedies. And it's one of those, hi Amy, it's one of those like magical tinctures, right? But for other people, they're like, I hate it. It makes me feel nauseous. It's not good for me. Like all these different things, right? That's because everybody's body is different. So where you may have similar symptoms in terms of like, I'm really tired, or, I just feel mentally exhausted, I'm really stressed, what your body actually needs, like the underlying reason that you're having that issue and that breakdown, is going to be different in every person. So what I just think is fascinating is how God has really provided all these tools in nature that overlap in purpose and use. So there are plenty of other things that are great for exhaustion. Typically when you're looking at adrenal fatigue, you're going to get a lot of adaptogenic herb recommendations like ashwagandha and holy basil and eleuthero and things of that nature. There's just a ton out there. But some people are going to respond to ashwagandha, whereas some people are going to respond to holy basil, and some people are going to need bacopa. It just completely depends on your biological individuality, your medical history, your lifestyle, your environment. So whereas a lot of things cover a lot of people and they're very helpful, I also don't ever want you to get discouraged, because for me, this has been an ongoing journey. And throughout the process, I just experiment with different things and I find different things that work. I wanted to share this one particularly because it worked in less than 24 hours and it was very helpful, and maybe it's something that you could experiment with yourself if you have back pain or nerve pain, or you have that dip between 3 to 5 in the afternoon, or if you're struggling with a lot of anxiety. But this is a great example as well, because a lot of people that are struggling with anxiety may simply be deficient in magnesium or B vitamins. And so those are things that you can look into as well. And it just, again, depends on your body, your bio-individuality, what's happening in your life, what's the underlying issue there. if all of this seems completely overwhelmed and you're like, this is really fascinating, Kylene, and this is great, and I'm struggling with this, and this, but I literally don't have the energy to do any of that. I don't have the desire to research. I'm not like you. I don't want to get Chinese medicine books. I don't want to Google all this stuff. That's okay. That's why I'm here. It's my job to be your personal health detective. So if you're interested in working with me, just let me know. I am taking one-on-one clients through the month of May and June, and then I have some bigger group programs that will be available in July as well if you kind of want some more generalized information. But if you're ready to like dig deep into your own personal health, your own like what's the underlying cause, like what's causing this, not how can I cover up this symptom, but what's actually going on, and have somebody that's willing to work with you and hold your hand through the process. That's me. And the reason I do that is because that's what I wanted this whole time as I was going through the process. I needed somebody that I could email. I needed somebody that I could ask questions to. If something doesn't work, you want a practitioner that you can come to and be like, this did nothing for me. Can we try something else? And the answer is yes. We can always figure out what works for you. So I hope you guys are having a happy Saturday. I hope this was interesting to you. Literally blew my mind with something that oats was something I was not aware of before. And so I'm like totally researching this now and looking up all these like scholar articles and all this kind of stuff. And like, what's been studied on this? And so it's just very interesting. So I hope this has been helpful. If you guys are not already in my free Facebook group, Stop Dieting and Live Your Life, make sure you hop over there. It's a free resource. You can post questions anytime. At least once a month, I offer some sort of freebie in that group, whether it's a PDF or like a 5-part video series about a topic, whatever it is. I try to give some good content for you every month that's interesting and helpful. And if you're interested in work with me, message me and we can work something out together and get some testing done and get your intake forms, and I can learn all about you and ask you some questions, and you can ask me some questions and see if we're right to work together. So anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it, and have a happy Saturday.